is the New York Giants. Let's move on to the Washington Commanders, as they were last in division, but were actually 500. So I guess kudos to them because they went 8-1. So they did 500 in a 17-game season. Departure-wise, they lost quarterback Carson Wentz and also quarterback Taylor Heineke, running back J.D. McKissick as well. Lost a couple offensive linemen and Chase Roulier and Trey Turner, as well as Nick Martin and Wes Schweitzer, and also lost wide receiver Cam Sims. And then on the defensive side of the ball, lost a couple linebackers in Cole Holcomb and John Bostic, and then also lost cornerback Cameron Dantzler as well. And then addition-wise, they brought in Eric Bieniemy from the Kansas City Chiefs to be their offensive coordinator. Also brought in quarterback Jacoby Brissett, who apparently today, as of August 3rd, granted his training camp, like Ron Rivera hinted, he could potentially push for the starting job. I don't know. I forgot the quote, but it was an interesting quote. And then also brought in offensive lineman Andrew Wiley from the Chiefs. So similarity with Bieniemy and his system. And then draft-wise, they grabbed cornerback Emmanuel Forbes in the first round at pick 16 out of Mississippi State. And then safety Jartavius Martin out of Illinois at round 2, pick 47. And then they did address offensive line in round 3 with the center and Ricky Stromberg out of Arkansas. Nonetheless, though, John, what are your thoughts on the Commanders and if they can improve from being the quote-unquote worst in your division last year?
Well, just real quick about the Jacoby Brissett quote. He said, "Don't sleep on Jacoby. He's done a nice job as well. I mean, we got some really good quarterback play going on right now. We've got a real good quarterback room. We're happy with what we've got right now." So I think it says, I don't know. They didn't say, because he says, "Don't sleep on Jacoby. He's done a nice job as well." So I assume they're talking about Sam Howell before that.
Yeah.
I don't know,
because
regardless,
it's seeming like Sam Howell's going to be the QB, but
yeah,
they brought in Jacoby Brissett.
Regardless, I'll be honest. I do think that in general, this team does have a lot of spots that look really strong. Like obviously, the defensive line has still been strong, assuming health with Chase Young. You got Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen, Montez Sweat. Like they still have the same good defensive line. It's just then you have all the other issues along the defense, right? Where like you got some decent corners, but your safeties, the play hasn't been super consistent from the safeties. Also, the corner opposite of Kendall Fuller has not been super consistent. So you add Emmanuel Forbes. Can he be that guy? We'll see. Then, on the offense, right? Like you got a really good receiver room of like Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel. But then it's the quarterback thing of like they haven't really had a consistent quarterback in forever. And the offensive line lost a lot of pieces. And who knows with Charles Leno and Sadiq Charles and Andrew Wiley and some of these guys, like, are they actually up to the task? Can they protect the quarterback and give, Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson enough room to actually have a competitive run game? I really don't know. I just think in terms of this division, once again, we saw 3 of the teams make the playoffs. I don't think we'll see 3 again. Like, just logically, that's just so hard to fathom. Back-to-back years, one division sending 3 teams to the playoffs. It's certainly possible, but seems just unlikely. And so it might be even tougher for Washington to potentially get in. And I still think they're the weakest team in this division. The quarterback play is going to be by far the worst in this division. And that's no shot at Sam Howell. It's just I personally wasn't very high on him coming out of the draft. And, now here he is, having to be the starter with kind of a very questionable offensive line. And then on defense, once again, they've got that very concentrated strength of the defensive line, but that only does so much if immediately off the line your corners are getting beat or your linebackers can't cover space, so they're able to run, across the edges on you and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah, we'll see with Washington. I don't really have high expectations for them. I don't think they're going to be like one of the worst teams in the league, but I certainly don't think they're going to be contending for a playoff spot. Like I could see them getting like 6 wins.
Yeah, I'm with you. Even though I do like the Bieniemy hire on paper, just the shuffling of the offensive line, you already mentioned there seems to be not a lot of premier talent there. And then Sam Howell's has only played one game in the NFL, so you don't know how the season's going to weather him, and what issues may come up, or could because teams are going to throw different things at him. And you mentioned on the defensive side of the ball too. While I do like their defensive line too, I a little worry about their depth as well behind those guys. As much as I like Chase Young, and he's been dealing with injuries past couple of years, and to be honest too, it seems like he was potentially in the doghouse or something, because there's rumors that they may trade him, and I believe they declined his 5th-year option. I'm not sure, but I've been seeing some. It was during the summer, so I seeing those like things from the Commanders, and then they're going through their whole owner change. So yeah, it just feels like there's a lot going on for the Commanders, on and off the field, and even on the field, just not a lot of premier talent. Even like Emmanuel Forbes, you mentioned him. I had concerns about his size. He was very thin. I don't doubt his covering ability, but that was a major concern. Like even pick 16, I was like, man, that's a little bit of a reach in my opinion, because I believe Christian Gonzalez is still available too, guys like that. So,
and think about it too, like you're in a division with AJ Brown, who's a very big-bodied receiver. Yeah. Like he's a very physical player. I agree. Well,
even then too, you mentioned physicality. The Eagles love to run the ball. Dallas, their plan is to run the ball more, and then same with the Giants. So a guy like Emmanuel Forbes, he may be asked to come down from his end and crash inside the box and make a tackle, or take on a block, and he may just get blown up. So we'll see, because also too, I'm not a big fan of their linebackers as well. I think that's been a bit of an issue for them. So, but nonetheless, some people are high on this defense because they did improve towards the end of last year. So we could be proven wrong, as they did go the first two picks on defense. So maybe they feel otherwise. But nonetheless, that is the Commanders. So we'll see if, very unlikely they go exactly 500 again, but it is Ron Rivera, and there's that running joke that he's always kind of around that range, and we'll see, because he could be on the hot seat after this season too. New management and such as well may want to bring in their own guy, but we'll see. Nonetheless, that is the NFC East.